So William, please, can you name one lesson or idea from abroad that's helped you or your colleagues?
Yeah, it's a great question. We were in Singapore last week, which was a really inspirational week. We met with the Singapore Land Authority, and a couple of years ago they combined two of the major producers of geospatial information, the equivalents of Ordnance Survey, producing digital land information and land registry, into one single body called the Singapore Land Authority. So it gives them the ability to both produce and use core aspects of geospatial data and information really effectively. And it's something I'm sure that in the UK, when we build our UK geospatial strategy next year, we'll have a look at how we can maybe unify some of the data sets more effectively.
Thank you. And are there any projects or innovations from this country that you think would be valuable to your peers overseas?
Yeah, so again, I'll use Singapore as it's uppermost in my mind. A couple of years ago in London, again, Ordnance Survey and Land Register created the first Geovation Hub, which is about stimulating geospatial technology growth and innovation. Singapore, just early this year, in fact, in July this year, opened GeoWorks in Singapore, which is very similar. It's a number of startup entities, part funded by the Singapore Land Authority. We had a great half day with them and saw some of the practical examples of new geospatial technology that Singapore is now deploying. And again, that's something that we, as an idea, exported to Singapore. So we're learning and cross-fertilizing ideas all the time.
And how can we improve the ways in which senior public officials work with and learn from their colleagues overseas?
Yes, that's a good question. Maybe get on an aeroplane, as I did last week. We can't always do that, of course, but we can share and learn huge amounts. I think virtual groups, I mean, certainly an action I've taken away from my trip last week is to reach out to my counterparts in some other countries, such as the US, the Netherlands, Australia, New Zealand, and we can create a virtual geospatial global commission. And I think other sort of policy leaders in other areas could do the same. Reach out to peers and counterparts, create, through the internet, it's quite easy to do, digital forum, digital policy groups, and share ideas, and then find ways maybe once a year to get together physically with one or more of one's counterparts. I found it very powerful and very inspiring last week. We can all learn a great deal from others' experiences.
Right. What are the biggest global challenges within this field over the next few years?
Data is such a key element of the new industrial revolution. We talk about Industrial Revolution 4.0, which is all about connecting more people, connecting more places, and connecting more businesses, so that we can drive out some of the new applications and services that we're all beginning to hear about: Internet of Things, automated vehicles, telemedicine. The list goes on. So I think the biggest challenge is around awareness and adoption. We already have huge amounts of both geospatial data and data in general. It's making that aware to end users, be it public sector bodies or private sector bodies, and then adopting and taking up that data and using it more effectively. And just in the few months I've been in the UK Geospatial Commission, I've seen many areas where we can both share existing information more effectively and adopt that information more effectively. So awareness of what we've got and adopting the usage of existing geospatial data sets.
Thanks. And finally, what's your favourite book?
My favourite book? Well, I was very much inspired growing up by George Orwell, so I would probably say anything by George Orwell. 1984 is probably his most famous one. I personally like The Road to Wigan Pier. I find a book I go back to quite a lot. So anything by George Orwell. On a lighter note, anything by Raymond Chandler, who is a crime thriller writer in 1930s America. So I do like a good crime thriller.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.